Today I'm back with another sketchbook tour. This time it's kind of a double sketchbook tour, and there's a notable time difference between this one and last one, especially with the whole one sketchbook a month ordeal. A lot of side quests, if I may, have popped up over the past few months, and a lot of cool stuff as well. I'm no longer unemployed, so, time ain't the same, but it's good. It's good. Also applied to art school. See how that is going. Quite interesting. The waiting game is, sometimes taking a toll on me, but we got through to phase 2, which is, good. I should know sometime soon, and if I do, I might be able to make a little video about the portfolio, because at least it got approved, and the other videos are somewhat older, and I'm saying all of this without contextualizing that I applied to the animation workshop, but for that matter, if anyone's interested, do let me know. Hopefully I can come back with some better news. But, that has occupied a bit more of my time. But I have 2 sketchbooks, mainly this one that I use for my portfolio process, and this one that I filled up in 2 months, approximately, if I can show you, from March 23rd to May 26th. This one still has a few pages left in the back, but kind of filled both of them up around the same time, so take a look at both. This one's also the scragglier one out of the 2, and this is a mixed media sketchbook, so they got a little fancy with it, I guess. So let's start with this one. In terms of the actual sketchbook itself, if you're looking for cheap option for a mixed media sketchbook, I would definitely go with this one. I had a very positive experience all around with it, and apologies for the harsh lighting. We'll learn. We'll learn through each try. So, there's some random stuff. Put it outside here. Anyway, this was also a sketchbook I started filling up, and then I gave up around 1/4 of the way through, which is, as you can see. Tried filling it up in 30 days and then realized that real life catches up on me. But let's start. So, little swatches in the beginning. During this time, I got into Star Wars again, and actually understanding what the movies were about. Last time I saw them, I was barely understanding English, so it was a fun experience. Big nerd, always have been, but I guess this is worse now. Also Mando, some little Grogu. Here are some random character sketches, or an idea I never managed to pick up on again, but if they get some love, I might consider thinking about it again. So Mothman. Did I finish this design project? No, but I had a lot of fun, and I revisited some of my random special interests as a child, and also shout out to my boy Wendy June. Always a loyal member of the autism community. More Mothman stuff. Kinda like this design, and if I continue with it, I would probably pick it up from there. Guess the main struggle is it looking too much like a cockroach, to be honest, but I'll figure it out. This is a sun bear, by the way. It's a kind of Bonnie and Clyde situation with the other circus girl. Bit more information on my Mothman. And, you know, apes creep me out a little bit, so I can't stop drawing them. You know, complicated relationship. Also, what if magical girls had like mafia boss level personalities and just lived miserably out of, you know, their day-to-day confrontations with the world's evil, whatever. It's kind of fun to explore what they would look like if they were really annoyed all the time. Pretty animatic. There's some dogs. Big fan of them dogs, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Canis Lupus Familiaris. You never fail me. Something I never finished coloring, but, you know. Any Boba Fett fans out there? This one's for you. Shout out. This is me. And I kind of picked up a theme with this sketchbook in the beginning by trying to kind of design what I would like very common cryptids to look like. In this case, I went with a Yeti. And, you know, good old Mongolian deathworm. Went through a lot of iterations with this one. Still haven't settled on anything, funnily enough, but, you know, it's a cool guy. Little sketches. And with Story. Because, you know, I don't know, I'm just Mexican and weird. Why not? So here's a list of other things I wanted to do next to the Mothman, Deathworm, and then with Soti. Definitely do want to get around to it again. Do a little squonk, little night crawler action over there. And Ard, of course. Ard. My boy, my love. Always love him. Some thumbnails for the piece I was gonna do for a magazine. Free submission. And I believe I shared these sketches a little bit on Reddit before. But yeah. Oh, sorry. My apologies. Also, was very much vibing with my acrylic markers at the time. More Mongolian deathworm. More Mothman and Mongolian deathworm. Very cool. Very cool. This is what you will see a lot more in the third sketchbook. Just random thumbnails. This was me trying to figure out some thumbnails for, you know, common advertisements you would see in a completely anthropomorphic animal world. Also, Tostorinans. Did see Super Mario, the second movie that came out. One of the good things I got out of it is learning about these guys' existence. Once again, Mexican pride here. Sketches, people. The orientations I choose with these pages are very disorderly, so I do apologize for the constant flipping and whacking around of this book. Also just generally trying to get into like scary creature design with this. Turns out I think that's fun, which is what I vibe with sketchbooks. Also more Mongolian deathworm. Kind of vibe with this a little bit more. And thinking about it, it looks a little bit like the monsters or the creepers in Mickey 17, at least in a similar line of thought. A bit more explorations for the circus characters. People on the train. One of my many victims. More people on the train. I had to take really long trips with the train this past few months, so that was great. No complaints from me, to be honest. Also, this lady was trying to sleep. And, more people. Oh, sorry. Some composition and value studies from different things. This one, I don't quite remember what each one of these corresponded to. But, oh, this is Creepcast, that I do know, so, you know. More limited studies as well. Some gouache. Trying to kind of get rid of my fear with gouache, but I only tried it once. But I will look into it again because it was fun nonetheless. This came from, I believe the story is called The Man in a Tree. And if I have my facts straight, that should be a story written by Dopa Beans on Reddit, but I heard it on the Creepcast podcast. Couldn't help myself. It does. He just like sounded like a very funky guy. I kind of really needed to get into it. A little uncanny valley action, I guess. But I didn't know, and turns out he looks a lot like Tugboat. Sorry, Mid Canyon, but you know, just pretend his fur is colored. I didn't draw that in because I felt a little bit weird about coloring over the green, but it's not Tugboat, guys. It's not Tugboat. Unless you want him to be, you know, some bugs. Oh, sorry, again. More bugs, because I read The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka with a friend, and I kind of wanted to draw the little bugger. I hope I'll get around to making a little character sheet someday with that. And around this time, I also watched Project Hail Mary. This is a little bit more of a fan art situation. Amps up a bit, but here's Dr. Grace. Here's Rocky. And a bit more Dr. Grace. Love this movie, honestly. Great. I don't know. It tickled my fancy, as they would say. Some fish. I really like this guy's face. I didn't really get to emulate its countenance, but definitely was fun giving it a try. I'd also watched the FNAF movies recently, and then I watched FNAF 2, which I, with all due respect, do not like. So I had to kind of like sit down. This was also revisiting a little bit of my childhood. Never played the games, but most certainly you would catch me watching Markiplier videos of it because I couldn't play it at the time. So it was fun revisiting that a little bit. Then here's where I started, also because of that same The Man in the Tree podcast episode on Creepcast, Laika, which you can see a bit more of on my Instagram. Here's some Creepcast portraits. Beautiful one here. This is a portrait of a family, and some fan art of the boo jumps from the concert I went to. Nicely enough, a bit more Laika, which is a bit of a struggle because the the suit that she wore is not really a mobile type of suit, you know? So it's kind of a debate between letting her look like a sausage or letting her have something that is absolutely not accurate to what she wore. But my whole project is not really aligned to what is realistic anyway. But I also made some notes on like a story. A bit of a fan of drawing people when they least expect it. Oh, sorry. Some more composition studies. Some, I believe this is from Emperor's New Grove. Also a little bit of Project Hail Mary, now that I remember. Like I said, I liked it. More studies with pencil. Also a bit more horror-related studies. After, getting a bit more into cast, I suppose. Thumbnails would seem to look like Smile Dog, but that was not the intention. Yeah. Goth Ghost also because I was, creep casting, I guess. Monsters. More life drawing. Unsuspecting victims. Caught them eating pizza and they don't know it. Oh, this is actually Tyler Joseph from 21 Pilots. So you see, there's a bit of a theme of me revisiting stuff I was interested in as a child, like FNAF and whatnot. And I was like, oh well, as a kid I really wanted to make very, appealing 21 Pilots fan art. I never got around to doing that. I was always a bit too shy. And now that I'm older, and what some people would consider an adult, I had to revisit it a little bit. This is a meme. This is also a meme. But they make for very cool references. Try drawing memes and just like weird, uncanny facial expressions. I do think there's some profit to practicing that kind of stuff. More unsuspecting victims. And third stop of memory lane. Here we have little iterations of the Scooby-Doo gang. I actually quite like this drawing of Fred. And Velma, Daphne. I would kind of go with this for Shaggy. He's utterly confused. And this is where I kind of was like, oh, man, I don't even know what to draw no more. And, yeah, art block, one might say. I do think he's cool. And the figure studies, I felt a bit rusty. So, this is quite old when I first started the sketchbook. But, that was it. Also moving. You should see that. Don't miss this page. Anyway, that was sketchbook number 5. I'm currently working on sketchbook number 4, and why is that out of order? Well, sometimes I start drawing in a certain sketchbook that was out of order, and I keep drawing in it until, I finish it, and that's what happened here. This is sketchbook number 3, and like I mentioned, this was mostly what I used to brainstorm for the animation workshop portfolio situation. And keep in mind, this is very scraggly. It's mostly like thumbnail focused, oriented. Hopefully, the placement of the sketchbook is a bit less erratic than the other. But I mostly took notes here about things that I liked the visual language of. Their notes on particular character designs and how I could piece storylines together on my portfolio and whatnot. Also quite a bit of life drawing, some of which in the sketchbook are also featured in my actual portfolio. So that was fun. Like I said, I can also make a video about it because, gracefully enough, it was approved for that first phase, and you know, hopefully also for the second. An update for that awaits, however. I remember a man on the train saw me drawing this and was a bit startled by the questions he asked, but he was a nice guy. Also at the bowling alley, try drawing people mid-action when you can't rewatch it. It's crazy hard. You know? I really don't know. You know how those old Disney artists used to draw people while the reference footage was filmed for models and whatever? Okay, so that's harder than I thought it was. You know, I knew it was hard, but still, sometimes you're never prepared. More bowling alley shenanigans. Oops. Oh no. These two are actually in my portfolio. Seemed clearest to me at the time. A little bit. I'm gonna put it in landscape again. I think it should be safe to do. This is also featured in the portfolio as kind of like a background explanation of my thoughts regarding the character design prompt that was about the Emperor's New Clothes. And, well, some notes about what I could draw, what I would like to draw, certain things to keep in mind, which, you know, I can go through these notes because I guess they help to a certain degree, and if you're interested, like I said, I'm open. A lot of random stuff, kind of wanted to try my hand at some of my Masaki whoaaa stuff or whatever. This was actually a very important blueprint for the character turnaround and for the expressions subcategory. More sketches about stuff. These were some sketches for a piece that I actually did end up making. And some honest old minister poses, some silhouettes, a little checklist to keep me on track. And this was my initial idea for the storyboard section. I had this character in mind for the character in the movement section, and fortunately it was kind of too long for me to piece it together within 12 frames. Show you what I actually did. I'll put up an image there, but you know, we can get in depth into that conversation a bit later. And this is Robert Smith. There's something about his face I quite like. So, you know, I had a bit of fun in that regard. This is also a life drawing session, if you can call it that, which is I drew people at a manicure and pedicure place, which is interesting. And this is in the portfolio as well. This is also in the portfolio, and you can notice that I kind of already separated the sketches and didn't draw on the opposite page to make it look nicer. finally, this is the idea that I did end up going with for my storyboard. And it mostly had to do with just a brief interaction of a, motorcyclist, repair guy, dude, man, and cat, Marley. Shout out to my buddy who gave it his name. Andrew. Well, these were some character sketches for Randy. Or Rand, I guess. Which is the cyclist individual in question. Some sketches for a character, for an idea I shared with a buddy of mine. Also, kind of, again, just categorizing ideas based on urgency and interest. This is actually a colleague of mine, and certain of these drawings also made it to my portfolio. I remember this was the last day that I was working on it. They're really nice. I asked if I could draw them, and the store was fortunately very empty at that day, so we had a bit of time. Also, more people. Also, a colleague of mine, she's very cool. Some people, some clients I also saw, I thought looked interesting. This is also in the portfolio as far as I can remember. Some notes as well. And skip ahead a little bit. Just some random doodling here and there. Life drawing once again. Nothing too specific for these pages. And again, like with my lists of things I'm interested in at the time, so I don't forget. And then, when art block hits, I usually look through this and I'm like, oh yeah, wow. Dude, so true. This was around the time that I started watching The Mandalorian. Consequently, the time I started the sketchbook at. So, I tried to kind of make some likeness stylization studies of Pedro Pascal. Because, I knew I was going to be drawing his helmet, but I also like his face. So, I like this one the most. Also, revisiting my Mothman. This is the design I used to, I kind of honed in on when I was younger, and I used to draw him, but my taste has evolved a little bit, so I had to kind of redo it again. There's a Markiplier, because Iron Monk had come out around that time, and I was quite excited about that venture of his. Still am. Very inspiring. Also more stuff I was interested in. Cryptid list of the cryptids I wanted to design that I still do. And also based on Wendy Gibbs' videos with Cryptid Iceberg, the Dover Demon, Hodag, Deep Star 4000 Fish, that kind of thing. Also, I remembered Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman, so that's fun. Oh, this is kind of, talk about it somehow, but there's a few things that I keep in mind that I try to not forget of the stuff I would like to do while making art. And these are some audio scrap lists from stuff I wanted to animate to, or try animating to. But a list of a few things I'd like to be able to achieve. That's just because I personally think it's fun. And it's like little goals that kind of could potentially make me focus on certain opportunities more than others. But it's kind of stuff like forcing Markiplier to voice a character of mine or something. Stupid. But I kind of think about it and I'm like, oh wait, no, I need to lock in. I need to lock in because if I don't, I can't get Markiplier to, you know. A little tip for y'all. If you need some kind of self-enforced accountability. These are life drawings from an art event I went to, where I got to see Nathan Fouts in real life, which is very cool. Kind of thing I didn't know was possible. And you know, people I saw here and there in the event. More Nathan, and someone who asked him a question. He seemed really sweet. Also some notes about the live demos he was doing, and in the event they also had organized a few live drawing sessions, so between talks I would go and just kind of go look and sit down for a few minutes and draw a pose. I won't even bother showing you that one, that was kind of, yeah. And they had very cool costumes and ideas, so I might read through. And during the break times for the models, they would ask people from the crowd to volunteer if they wanted to. So there were a few chances to capture faces from the crowd there. I always like drawing curvy people, I don't know. This is a drawing from a place where a British embassy is located. And fortunately, last and least, this stupid sketch, I don't even know what I was going with, but you know, that was fine. That's fine. And yeah, I left it at that. It's kind of falling apart and has a bit too old information that's a bit outdated for the new projects I kind of am working on, or I would like to focus on better. So I've decided to retire this. But that was it. And just to say hi and show. I didn't say show my face, but obviously that's not the case. But you know, show a bit more of my art here. Because I realized that my last sketchbook tour was 8 months ago, and that's kind of it's a bit, you know. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one. As always, thank you for watching. I'm kidding. That's one of the games. Sorry, man. Sorry. And well, anyway, God bless.